Hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to these videos. Welcome back to my life. Listen, today we're going to do something a little bit, I can't talk. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I feel like I'm just keeping my hands up here. It's a little weird. Look, puppy in the background. I have gotten a few comments over the last couple weeks just asking for tips from producer to other producers, and I will do my best to give you what I have learned over the past 10-ish years that I've been doing audio production stuff. Bear in mind, I'm not a professional by any means, so take all of these tips with a grain of salt. You know, I'm still not the best in the world. Obviously, I do an okay job, and if y'all want to stick around and hear some of the tips that I have to give you, I would appreciate that. I'm going to be taking you through one of my songs, actually off the LP that I just released called Happy. So I'm going to be taking you through that and just kind of giving you my tips and a little bit of insight as to kind of how I go about producing things. So anyways, I'll get into that in just a second. I do want to say I just put out a record. It's been doing really well, like better than I thought it would be doing, and I just want to say thank you so much. If you haven't listened to it yet, I will put the link to it down in the description and you can go give it a listen. I would really appreciate that. Also, one more thing, I have been doing okay over on TikTok. As of recently, I've gained a couple thousand followers, and I'm going to be putting out content on there every single day. So if you want content from me every single day, then it's going to be over on my TikTok. So go follow me over there. It's just at Reagan Beam. I don't know, I might put it in the description if I can. I don't know if I can or not, but I'm going to try to do that. So anyways, let's get into some of the tips. So the first tip that I want to give is actually just a super practical tip. I don't know why I said wanted to say gift tip. It's a super practical tip. And that is, don't be afraid to mess around and just try things. You can never really rush the creative process. So if you have a plugin that you haven't tried before, just go ahead and like open it up and see what it does to, you know, the sample or the vocal or whatever it is. Just don't be afraid. It's not like you really need to rush into getting a song done. Don't be afraid to try things, because that's a part of production. You kind of have to have like a childlike mentality about it and just go into it and not think about it. You know, if you have an idea, just go ahead and try it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's not the end of the world, and it wasn't a waste of time because it probably made you a better producer in the end anyways. So why not try it? Super practical, and obviously most of you probably know that, but it's something that I have struggled with in the past and kind of had to bring myself back to, having done producing for so long. Yeah, that was that tip. So yay. Okay, so my second tip, I want to bring you through my song Happy. We're just going to pop into the computer here. Amazing space, amazing world of the computer. Thank you for having us in your computer world. Moving on. I don't know why I'm being so like, no, I feel like I'm teaching right now. It's kind of annoying. Loosen up, pal. Come on. All right, so my second tip here is that I think when you first get into production, especially when you first get into like a DAW that can time things, you put everything like exactly on time. And like, listen, there's a time and place for that. Like a lot of electronic music, it's nice to like feel that kick just completely on all the time, but not for all music. And specifically for my type of music, I go through and I humanize pretty much everything after I'm done. For Happy, I literally went through all of these individual hits and I made sure that nothing is like exactly on time. You see how all these are kind of staggered? If I was to do this, you know, it doesn't sound quite the same as it does if you do this. You hear that like dun dun. It just like, it gives it a little bit more feel. And especially with pianos, I just feel like if you don't kind of like futz around a little bit with the timing of it, it ends up sounding really kind of fake. If you listen through, we'll just solo the piano here. You might be able to hear some of the little off-time intricacies of the piano. I don't know why I said that so weird, but we'll listen through real quick here and I'll show you what I mean. And look at these guys right here. Very, very off, but not to a point where you can really notice it, just to a point where it doesn't feel like a robot is playing it. You understand what I'm saying? We'll keep going here. Right there. And there. It just makes it feel a little more like grounded and real. Yeah, so tip number 2, focus on trying to make things feel the way that you want them to feel. If you want them to feel very like on time and like robotic, then you can do that. You know, music is subjective, so whatever you want to do is cool. And I feel like oftentimes as a beginner producer especially, you just put things completely on time and you don't really have any regard for like whether it's the right feel or not. So take that as you will, I guess. All right, so tip number 3 I got for you guys is that you shouldn't get too lost in the details, at least when you're starting the song and trying to finish it. However, feel is key. So what does the song need? Let me just take you into the drums for this particular song that we're in. Okay, so I'll just play it for you and then I'll explain. First thing that you might notice is that all of the snares don't sound the same, depending on how keen your ear is to hear those kind of things. I felt that the song needed to feel like it was pushing, because by nature the song is pretty slow, and so I wanted the drums to kind of pick up the pace a little bit and feel almost like it was pushing it ahead. One of the things I did to do that was add this snare, this really reverby snare on every other snare to kind of make it feel like if you know what I mean. Like it feels like it's like pushing and then pulling in. And we'll just listen to these snares soloed here. You see what I'm saying? It feels like it's like pushing and then pulling in. Another thing that I did to enhance that feel was I added these reverse, which I just basically, what I did was just reversed the snare drum. It kind of gives us like boom and then like release. And what it sounds like in the whole song, if you just focus your ears in on the drums here. Happy, don't care if it's without me. And baby, since you left me, I just hope there's no regrets. 'Cause I want you to be happy. And notice how I put that little suck in. Notice how I put that in the spaces of the vocal. Again, feel is key, and I needed something there to keep the movement going because I wanted it to feel like the chorus was moving. I didn't want it to feel like it was stagnant. One of the things that I did to do that was fill that empty space with something that felt like it was pushing forward. Happy, don't care if it's without me. And baby, since you left me. Now, let's listen without the little suck-ins. So we're going to turn these guys off, and we're going to turn off the snares that have a lot of reverb on them. So that's like every other snare. And just listen to the difference of the feel. Happy, don't care if it's without me. And baby, since you left me, I just... It doesn't sound as good, right? Like it doesn't feel like it's pushing forward enough. So that's something that you can keep in mind when you're producing. Like, what can you do to aid the song, but not take away from anything that's happening, especially in the vocal, in my opinion. So to wrap tip number 3 up, I guess, feel is key. I mean, that's probably most of my tips at this point, is just make sure that the song feels right. If it doesn't feel right, then you gotta come back to the drawing board and you gotta feel it out. Okay, I don't really have any more tips, to be honest with you. I'm still working on it too. So we could just be working on it together. Hope it was worth something to you guys. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's kind of a strange video for me to do. I'm not used to like telling people how to do things. I felt a little too formal doing it, to be honest. So it's kind of a weird format for me, but But there, you know, there it is. That's what it was. I'm just gonna go ahead and end it here. Again, I'll just say, would love for you to go check out my LP. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll put a link in the description. You can check that out. And lastly, I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers this year on this channel, so I would appreciate if you would just hit the subscribe button. And if you haven't liked the video yet, definitely do that. And all the other YouTuber things like commenting and stuff like that, they really help. So would appreciate if you would do all of that stuff. That's kind of all I have to say. So I will talk to you guys next week, I guess. Okay, bye.
She's got the stick shift pushed up to